What's the best of example of they hated him for he was right? Serpico. A movie about a real-life New York detective who tried whistleblowing against the NYPD and got destroyed. Valery Legasov. Soviet inorganic chemist and a member of the Academy of Sciences of the Soviet Union. He is primarily known for his efforts to contain the 1986 Chernobyl disaster. Corey Feldman. Called out Hollywood's history of pedophilia back in the 90s. He brought names to the police. And they dropped the case immediately. Brought it up again on The View in 2013. And Barbara Walters shut him down on camera. Saying you're damaging an entire industry. Jon Snow. He was the man that proved that cholera was transmitted through drinking that was contaminated and not by bad air as it was thought at the time. Most of the British scientific community ridiculed him. At the time, anyone on Reddit that tries to explain something or someone else's unpopular opinion and gets downvoted to hell just for helping explain or providing insight on something. Sinead O'Connor. She's owed an apology to this day. Martin Luther King Jr. He was hated by many people because he spoke out against racism and injustice. Despite the backlash, he continued to speak the truth and eventually became a martyr for the cause. That dude from the boardroom suggestion meme who kept getting launched out of a window. That Muslim guy from WWE whose whole gimmick was that you shouldn't blame all Muslims for 9/11 and he was constantly booed out the building for being un-American. LMFAO. Malcolm X towards the end of his life after he left the Nation of Islam. The guy was literally becoming a one-man ambassador. Building a massive coalition. Trying to make appeals to collaborate with MLK despite their differences. Was speaking out against the group he left. And I am convinced that's why he is dead. The government and the NOI both viewed him as a massive threat to their agendas. Despite the facts that their agendas were diametrically opposed. The French journalists who were like Lance is clearly doping but were accused of being haters and unable to handle an American champion in their precious bicycle race. Looks like Serpico needed a whistleblower to blow the whistle on the NYPD's treatment of whistle blowers. Can't remember which one they threatened death with heresy. It was either Galileo or Copernicus. Sinead O'Connor, the Dixie Chicks, and Janine Garofalo. Al Gore. South Park even sort of admitted it when ManBearPig turned out to be actually real. Taylor Swift about Kanye West. Love or hate her music. She was definitely right about him and no one can deny that now without looking stupid as hell. Leonardo da Vinci. John Brown. Horus. Only a few of his brothers understood it was better this way. MLK Jr. Jimmy Carter. He installed solar panels on the roof of the White House in the late 70s. And then the Reagan administration removed them purely out of spite. Charles Darwin. Literally Jesus as a historical figure. Dude was fully about treating people equally and helping the people around him. I don't think there was anything magical or religious about him. That's just how you should treat people in general. Sinead O'Connor. The guy who held the English dubs are good. You're all just weebs sign. Huey P. Newton. It's time to fight back, that's what Huey said. 2 shots in the dark. Now Huey's dead. Chamath Palihapitiya. He said nobody cares about the Uyghurs. Everybody shouted at him and then stopped caring about the Uyghurs 2 days later. Edward Snowden. Sinead O'Connor. She tried bringing up sex abuse scandals and that the Pope himself knew about them but instead covered them up out of embarrassment. Got cancelled, and years later the media that helped her suffer a mental breakdown from the persistent scrutiny never apologized to her nor gave her credit. John motherfucking Brown. May his